Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rav Eliezer Melamed, Shlita. We continue with our study. We're covering a new topic, the meaning of Chanukah, Haba Aleinu L'Tova. Please continue davening for Chaylei Tzvagna Yisrael, for Shleim L'Chol Pitzuei Yisrael, and a safe return of our hostages. And we learn Ili Nishmat, Sarah, Daniel, Shemen, Rav Doron, V'Sheli Shem Kum Damo. The next chapter, Malchus Yavon. B'meshach me'os shanim, so over the course of hundreds of years, hispatcha b'Yavan tarbus balas haisagim gedolim b'mada. So we know about the Greek culture, and they have now spread to the world this type of knowledge: philosophia, safras, umnus, adrichalus, strategia tzva'is, v'sidrei shilton, philosophy, different types of writing, different types of professions, architecture, and design, and military strategy, war tactics, atzmasah chavigavra, and this picks up steam. Be'ikvos nitzchon Yosef shel Philippus melech Macedonia al Yerivav, and with the victory of Philippus, again from Macedonia, on those against him, hitzlich la'acher etz ma'medinas hayvanos tachas shiltono. So now he unites all the Greek islands and the subjects under his rule. Who is minis gadol hafilosofim v'hamadim hayvanim Aristo l'shamesh k'mechanech livno Alexander. And he invites the greatest of the philosophers, the greatest of the Greek philosophers, Aristotle himself, to be the personal mechanech, the personal educator of his son Alexander. So we're going to talk about Alexander the Great of Macedonia. Keshe'ala Alexander l'shilton hechel b'masa kibushim. So when Alexander rises to power, he starts with all sorts of conquering. Toch ke'eser shanim kavsho yivanim shtachim atzimim. Within 10 years, the Greeks have now conquered a tremendous amount of territory, as Asia Hakatana, Asia Minor, Eretz Yisrael, Mitzrayim, Israel, Egypt, v'chol shetcha shel ha'imperia ha'parsit ha'atzuma ad Hodu. And the entire Persian Empire, all the way until India. In the note here, we have not a halachic note, but historical note about Alexander the Great of Macedonia, with dates and everything very, very interesting. If anybody wants a history lesson, I would say look at the note. It's note 2. So after the death of Alexander the Great, who, by the way, probably didn't live all that long, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 28 years old, and all kinds of movies made about him, but I digress. But after he dies, then the military leaders, they fight over the rule, as always happens when there's a vacuum in rulership and in leadership, people fight for their position. Until they'd split into many different factions within the Greek Empire. But during this period of conquering, the Greek culture is now spread throughout the land. It consumed, swallowed, and superseded every other culture that was around at the time. Tarbus Hellenistit achas, and then it became one great Hellenistic culture. Shitas hamishtar, hasafar, hatarbut, tachriyot, hasport, shebechol aratzos hayach Hellenistim. The entire culture, law, language, culture, sport, everything was Hellenist. The rich people and the honored people and all the nations that were conquered, so they quickly assimilated and adopted the ways of the Hellenists. The area of Judah, again, we're talking about in Israel, let's say today we say Yehuda and Shomron, but Yehuda also was controlled by the Greek Hellenists. V'gamba hisyavnus halcha v'hispashta. And that's the term that's used. Hisyavnus, hisyavein, is to become Hellenist. So the Hellenist influence also spread. However, the Jews were different than other nations. And therefore, it didn't take as easily necessarily, and they had a bit more of a challenge. Halacha Ishbasam v'Gavra, Bikar al Ashirim. But over a period of 160 years of the Greek rule and the Hellenist influence, so then the influence starts to spread and it starts to take hold and take root, particularly amongst the wealthy people. Ad shegia shlav sheba kohanim agadolim yason amanaleos hayu ba'atzim rosh yavnim, until the point where some of the head Hellenists and those that are spreading the Hellenist culture were actually the Kohanim Agadolim, Kohen Gadol, Menelaus, and others. Upalo Laman Ashbas Hevanes al Yehuda, and they are working to spread Hellenistic values and culture on the people of Israel in Yehuda. Hemikim Eliyad Beis HaMikdash Itztadion LeTachrios Haya Avakut Vehedifu Lachazos BeTachrios Malkim Es Avodas HaKabonos Beis HaMikdash. So imagine this, that these Kohanim Gedolim, Menelaus, Jason, they put a stadium near the Beis HaMikdash built for, well, they call it a gymnasium, for physical wrestling matches. And people preferred to watch these wrestling matches rather than go to the Beis HaMikdash and bring karbanos. So you could just imagine what that would look like, where let's say we put a movie theater next to the shul, and instead of going to shul, people would rather go to the movies. Lahavdil elef havdalos, but that's sort of what was taking place. So this lays the groundwork for what was taking place during that period leading up to the story of Chanukah, but we have to understand the background and the Hellenist influence that took place over so many years. So we will continue with this next time, but until then, please continue davening for Chayalei Tzvagan Yisrael, for Shalom L'chol P'tuei Yisrael, safe return of our hostages, Nishmat, Sarah and Daniel, Shimon, Abdurrahman, Sheli, Shem Gam Damo. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you here next time. Have a great day.